Hello, hello, hello.
Let's see if this is on.
Good morning, everyone. We are going to go ahead and get started. I call this meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. and we will start with our land acknowledgement. Associated students recognize and acknowledges the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of the Fernandano Tataviam Banda Mission Indians that is now occupied by our campus of California State University Northridge. Honors their elders, past and present, and the descendants who are citizens of the Fernandano Tataviam Banda Mission Indians. Associated students recognizes that the tribe is still here and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. Now moving on to roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon, Senator Arias Gomez, Senator Atias,
Here.
Senator Basilio,
Here.
Senator Baywa,
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa,
Here.
Senator Contreras,
Here.
Senator Cunanan,
Here.
Senator Dominguez,
Here.
Senator Garcia,
Here.
Senator Gavino,
Here.
perfect. Senator Kachidia,
Here.
Senator Kodka,
Present.
Senator Mane, Senator Luna,
Here.
Senator Quiroga,
Here.
Senator Radianov,
Here.
Senator Ramirez, Senator Umana,
Here.
Senator Vicente,
Here.
we have quorum.
Thank you. We'll now move over to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
I move to approve the agenda for March 2nd, 2026.
Thank you. It's seconded by Senator Dominguez. Is there any discussion? Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. If there is no discussion, we will approve the agenda unanimously. There are no objections. Okay, fantastic. We will now move over to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Dominguez.
I move I move to approve the minutes for February 23rd, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Cunanan. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, if there are no objections, we will approve the minutes for February 23rd. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. We will now move over to special presentations, starting with hello, the CSUN Black House with Dr. Mason and BSU President Hermione Douglas.
Point of personal privilege.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hermione Douglas. I am the Black Student Union President, and then I'll wait for my other board member to come up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Inshira. I'm BSU event coordinator.
And then we just wanted to give a little synopsis of what the ABC conference did, what we did with the ABC conference, and then also the impact it had on students that came. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is the list of universities that attended and the number of students from each university. We were able to host about 732 students to come to the campus. Oh, over 734, my bad. And then also this level of representation shows that ABC is not isolated. It is a statewide movement focused on student leadership development and collective advancement. And then also this is a picture where we had all the students on the stairs. This picture is really, it shows the impact of how much we did and the work we put into it, especially just from looking at it. That's Black excellence to me. I don't know. And then, thank you. And then we had for total attendees, 734, and then workshop participation, 85% of attendees engaged in at least one workshop.
So just to go over some things that we did. So schedule highlights, we had keynote speakers and workshops like we just talked about. And then we had a banquet night to culminate the entirety of the conference. So the schedule was intentionally structured to balance inspiration, skill building, and celebration. So for our keynote speakers, we had Dr. Thema Bryant and Dr. David Turner III, who inspired attendees, and their messages were centered on liberation, leadership, and healing. And then for our workshops, they were focused on professional development, organizing, and collaboration. And so she's going to talk about more into detail of the workshops that we did. And then lastly, for the banquet night, it was just a powerful moment of recognition. So we offered scholarships. And so those who wrote the essays for the scholarships were awarded with those. We gave celebration to the people who put their hard work in to plan the conference. And so that was really fun.
And then just to highlight a few workshops, we hosted 39 workshops covering a wide range of topics, from political education like organizing for Black lives against authoritarianism and Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism, to entrepreneurship workshops like solo, duo, running a business as a student, to professional development sessions like LinkedIn building, branding, and career alignment, and even healing spaces. And if you can go to the next slide, you can see that we had a workshop that was called Go Touch Some Grass. And that is what they did. They went to go touch grass, and it was very healing, and they had yoga and meditation as well. And then for our gender roundtables, we had women's roundtable, men's roundtable, as well as queer women's roundtable, queer men's roundtable, and then gendered journey spaces that was hosted by Martell, which is director of Pride Center. And then these are like some pictures that you can see from these spaces that were held. And then here are a few testimonials. We have our own Black podcast that was just created this year for the Black House, for the Black community to get insight, and also for journalism majors to have a platform in order to be seen and to be heard. Oh, wait, is the video going to play?
We're gonna send it separately so you can play it because I think it has to be played through Canva.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to work through sending it through email, but I can just play it here if that works.
Happy New Year, everybody. The Blackout Podcast is here at African Black Coalition Conference, hosted here at California State University Northridge. And today I'm going to take you through and ask some students that are here at the conference what they're feeling, how they're feeling, and how empowered it feels to be with all these Black students in this space. What's up, y'all? I'm here with some students from Monterey Bay.
I'm Ashanti. I'm a sophomore. I'm Shauna. I'm also a sophomore.
I'm Layla Smith. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Elena. I'm also a sophomore.
My name is Enoch Campofo. I go to San Diego State University. I'm the president of the African Student Union there.
Noble, I go to UCSB. Harold Marcellus. Veranda X, she is the executive director of African Black Coalition, our BSU president. So how does it feel to be here? We're at California State University Northridge for the African Black Coalition Conference. How does it feel to be with all these Black students? How are you guys feeling?
I love seeing all the Black faces on campus. It's beautiful.
I feel like just being here, we're all inclusive. It shows that we can all come together and not have that negative stereotype.
We're here as a community, being ourselves and learning the deeper meaning of what it means to be Black.
A lot of us on campuses, we're at PWIs. So sometimes we're the only person in our class. It was really good and refreshing to see so many Black people.
First word that comes to mind is comforting. Like, this is the norm. This is how I was raised. I grew up around a lot of Black people. So it's nice to see this again.
Volunteer and actually be a part of it, to be part of something bigger.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is at the end of the day, is just being a part of something bigger than you. Because at the end of the day, even though we're all our own individuals, we're all a community too.
I actually graduated from Cal State Northridge. It's such a full circle moment because at the time when I was a student from 2012 to 2017, and we didn't have the African Black Coalition. We didn't have a resource as a student to teach us how to be leaders, to teach us what it means to be Black. And so I was navigating my student experience by myself. And of course I had the Africana Studies department to support me. But when I got into leadership, I didn't have that type of support that we provide students here at ABC. And at that time, they didn't let any Cal States attend conference. And so it was only a UC thing. And so one of the admin, you all got to hear from him today, Dr. Watkins, paid out of his own money for 10 students to come to the African Black Coalition.
That is rightfully so.
So as you heard, it's something that has been a pillar in the community, especially in our community, especially Dr. Watkins paying for 10 students to go out of his own pocket when he first stepped into leadership as well.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so for day one, we started with the ABC Block Party. So it wasn't just a social event, it was about community building. So the students network, they got a chance to come on campus, make friends, talk to people that they know, that they don't know from from all the other different colleges. It was about community building, and we just celebrated culture. So it started the conference off with a tone of joy, and it set the tone off for collective learning and community building throughout the conference.
And then we also saw Kiri there. We appreciate you coming. And then also Sheen came as well. So we appreciate AS leadership showing up in these spaces so people can see, oh, this is a space that we can be in, especially the Black community. And we can go to the next slide. And then these are day two highlights. So we had lunch, we had Battle of the BSUs. So the BSUs were able to create a little rap for the students and to showcase what their BSU is about and to rep their school. And then we also had Walhalla Crew dance. So we had them come in and then open up the conference with a performance for us. And then we also had our keynote speaker, Dr. Thelma Bryant. I included a 1-minute just section from her speech because I feel like it's very important that everyone hears what was said from the keynote speakers, and it's just 1 minute.
Please give a warm ABC welcome to
my dance on, and even though I am getting my grades accomplished, and even though I may have a leadership position, There have been some things, some storms that tried to take me out, but they did not have the final say. Why did they not have the final say? Because I am a reflection of my Creator. And so everything that is in God is in me. I am designed for greatness. I am designed to be an overcomer. I am designed. It is by design. It is not despite of who I am. It is because of who I am. And then not only because of my Creator, but it is also because of our culture. We come from a people who did not give up. If they had given up in the middle of passage, we wouldn't be here. If they had given up at auction block, we would not be here. If they had been giving up as a result of lynching and rapes, we would not be here. We are the survivors of the survivors of the survivors of the survivors. That is who we are.
All right, that's good. Thank you so much. That's just a little excerpt of everything that she said. The full video is on YouTube, and I can provide that link for everyone. But I think it's such a powerful speech that was given by Dr. Thelma Bryant, who is a clinical psychologist as well.
So I would, like she said, I would recommend it if you guys watched it because it was really impacting to be in the room when she was giving that speech. So for this slide, it's just day 3 highlights. So it was a workshop day, and then it was the banquet that we talked about and the scholarship. So just quickly, they received professional headshots. So everybody who attended, who was a student, was able to get a professional headshot that they would be able to use for their leadership or jobs, whatever they wanted to use it for. We also awarded a $1,000 scholarship, which was meant to directly invest back into student success. And then you can go to the next slide. For our second keynote speaker, we had Dr. David Turner III, and he closed with a powerful message about accountability, leadership integrity, and community responsibility, which is what we wanted because all of the people who came were leaders on their campus, and they're also leaders in their own right. So we wanted to give them a space for them to understand and to just be able to help be for when they become leaders and when they go out to lead in the world, to be more reinforced what they need to know. He challenged the students not just to attend conferences, but to return to their campuses ready to implement change, to be the change that they wanted to see in the world. And that challenge is what transforms inspiration into action.
You can go ahead and play the video.
Where people are saying that this is not Black people's business. Y'all have seen that online, where they're saying, oh, Black people don't go out to protest ICE. That's not your business. There's also this weird ass psyop where people are saying that this is not Black people's business. Y'all have seen that online, where they're saying, oh, Black people don't go out to protest ICE. That's not your business. This is not our business. What's happening in Palestine is not our business. We see how these type of narratives are being used to try to ensure that you don't exert the power that you actually have. If you didn't have power, why would they be telling you to stay at home? If you didn't have power, why would they be telling you to chill? Black folks understand that they have been terrified of what it is we could do and who it is that we are. There was a reason it used to be illegal for us to be able to read. There was a reason they made sure we didn't have access to the schools and all those other things. It's because they know who we are. And what else is at stake? Our very lives. Keith Porter was killed out here in Northridge.
And that's just a little excerpt from what we witnessed and everything. He did a very powerful analogy in the beginning with the students to understand how the prison pipeline system works. And I think you guys should go watch it. It's in the very beginning. I can send that link as well.
Dang, why do I do that? Okay. So for this slide, we just wanted to extend a heartfelt gratitude to associated students, to you all. We thank you so, so, so much, and to all of our supporting partners. Conferences of this scale require institutional support, collaboration, and trust, and we deeply are grateful for that you guys trusted us enough to support us in this. And investment in student leadership development yields long-term returns, not just for individuals, but for our campuses as a whole. And so thank you to all of our supporting partners.
And then, yes, thank you. As we reflect on 2026's success, we are already looking forward to 2027. Our goals include expanding workshop offerings, increasing scholarship opportunities, strengthening intercampus collaboration, deepening leadership pipelines. ABC is not just a yearly event, it is a growing movement. And with continued support, we can expand it impact even further. Before I close, I do want to do something interactive. Can you please go sit down for me, please? It includes her too. Okay, I need everyone to raise their hand for me, please. Thank you. Now, put your hand down if you're sitting next to a Black senator. Okay. And then now leave your hand raised if you were sitting next to a Black senator last year. You guys just all put it down, actually. So that difference is impact. Last year, we did not have that representation. This year, we do. And representation doesn't happen randomly. It happens when students are developed, when they are affirmed, when they are equipped, when they are challenged. This is what ABC does. I also want to briefly acknowledge something. There were comments made during discussions about the conference that were disheartening. And I understand that large investments require scrutiny. They should. But I hope this presentation made something very clear. This was not just a trip. This was not just a social gathering. This was a leadership development, political education, professional advancement, healing, community building. And we are already seeing the outcomes. One of the areas our community has struggled with is Black male representation in leadership spaces. This year, we have seen an increase in Black men stepping into leadership roles, running for positions, organizing, speaking, and serving. This is not accidental. When young Black men are in rooms where they are affirmed, challenged, and surrounded by other leaders who look like them, they rise. And that matters for our campus, for our community, for our future. 734 students attended, 85% engaged in workshops. We increased representation, we built leaders, we invested in our students, and our students are now investing back into the campus. That is the return. Impact is not always immediate, but sometimes you can see it sitting right next to you. Thank you. And now our advisor wants to say something after.
I should have spoke at the beginning. I did just want to say thank you on behalf of the Black House and our Black students across campus. That was something. I want to just make sure we draw attention to the picture on the stage. On the presentation. I don't know how many of you all have been at the library steps and taken a photo at the library steps, but every seat was filled. And what is it to have one of your identities celebrated? What is it to have an opportunity to culminate all that you're working for in these 4, 2, 5, 6 years that you'll be here, and be able to have that affirmed in a place, to be able to walk into that space however you present, and be able to have community, have people who cheer for you. And that is what the conference was. But then also the piece of having people not within the design of the conference also be there to shepherd and support and to say, hey, look, you got it, right? Kind of like the BSI designation, which a few of you were at last week. Those opportunities matter. And sometimes I know that it's like, oh, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. But it matters to the 20 some odd students that showed up and wanted to celebrate this campus and the achievement of receiving the Black Student designation. And what is it to have AS and not be there? So I do, again, appreciate all the leadership and that were there. And I just wanted to also add that the conference has put us under a microscope. The conference has put a call to action and let the chancellor's office even know that CSUN is really about doing the work. As you all saw in several of the pictures, BJ Snowden, as a representative of the chancellor's office, was there. Of course, President Beck was there. Our deans showed up, and several of the other constituents across campus that represent all of the campus were there. And they've already started to ask many more things of us, of my office for sure. And I look forward to celebrating those accomplishments as we move forward strategically. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Oh, do you have anything?
Questions?
Yeah.
We're supposed to stay for questions. My bad.
Were there any questions on the presentation?
Yes.
There it is. Okay, it wasn't on. Really quick, sorry, could you recap what you had mentioned planned for the coming year? I have more workshops, collaborations with other campuses, and potential scholarship opportunities for students. Could you just give a few more?
Yes.
Well, I'll start off by saying that I know the chancellor's office has called us to be an Umoja campus, which opens up an opportunity for all students who come through that transfer pipeline through several of our campus partners. So that is, right now, there's only 2, I believe, Umoja universities amongst all the community colleges across California, pretty much. So we're looking into, we just had our first meeting to discuss that. And then also we'll be developing, I think one of the things that Hermione was mentioning is that in October, we'll be hosting a regional leadership training for a few of the local universities, UC, CSU, and privates will come to, for a leadership training in, like I said, October.
And I will say that's something we've tried in the past, but it was just not enough funding or leg power. And now we have a lot of Black students that are involved in BSU and wanting to get involved in our committees and our board. And that's something that we needed in order to carry out a lot of the huge events we want to put on for Black students to get all of the resources that they need. Yes.
And then one more question. So I know you mentioned that you have a lot more students and a lot more partners willing to collaborate. I know you don't need it, but how many more partners do you want to see?
That I want to see? I feel like Black Student Union has reached out to a lot of nonprofits that we've already created partnerships, even through being designated as a Black serving institution. One of them is Planned Parenthood for our new menstrual hygiene drive that's coming up in March. And I believe we have one more partnership with a Black men's nonprofit to increase mental health within the Black community, especially for Black men.
I'll just say that, like most of our minoritized communities across campus, I think that it's just important that individuals not within that community are present and fully engaged. So your question is an interesting question, which I love your questions. As many partners that are willing to show up and commit and be firm in their support of the different communities within the Black diaspora, but then also across our campus are essential. And I say that because, allyship is a real thing, and it takes active work, and the absence of an ally. Well, yeah, it doesn't work. And we can't do the work unless we're not just engaging the Black community, but then also we're engaging in learning and other experiences as well. And I think that's what AS represents.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming and presenting on the ABC conference. Like you said, Hermione, it is our responsibility to represent the Black community, whether they are sitting at this table or not. And it is important for all of us to make sure that we are not only representing and being student leaders, but that we're actually being true allies, because that is the epitome of what it means to be a student leader. So thank you so much. Okay, we will now move over to our second special presentation, the External Affairs Policy Agenda given to us by Chair Vicente.
Good morning, everyone. Wait, do we have to sign in too? Yeah? No? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna try to keep this short, only because honestly, if you guys want to know more, I'll just send you the policy agenda. But you wanna go first? Okay, I'll give this word to Jimena.
So, in this fast-paced world we live in, with new technological advancements around the corner, the committee believes it is important to emphasize the uses of such tools. And continuing with the efforts of Senator Gavino, our first priority is university usage of AI. Our first goal within this is to have further collaboration with the AI task force. There have been many different concerns regarding student usage of AI. It is important to keep open communication with the AI task force to discuss student needs in regards to student usage of the tools that have been provided for us, as well as provide feedback for students regarding AI. Our second goal is recommending strict protocols for AI voice or image generation. Throughout the classrooms, there are varying opinions on AI. Depending on the professor, there could be strict rules and regulations on AI, but the committee believes it's important to have a standard set of rules on the usage of artificial intelligence. With the new information that is going to be provided with the AI report, we hope to be able to come up with recommendations for these certain protocols. And the timeline for this would be finished around hopefully by the end of the semester.
Okay, moving on to our second priority. It's the community involvement with CSUN. So our objectives for this is to check up on DPS and ask for more updates on pending matters. One of the things I'm most excited to work on is the check for regulations around the community for bike lanes. We want to make sure that bike lanes are visible and they're following all regulations, because we have noticed there have been more accidents around campus, and since we are a commuter school, this does raise concerns with the bike lanes. Also, the electric scooters, we're just trying to just making sure that regulations are being enforced just for the safety of the students. Lastly, for priority number 3, we have the gubernatorial race coverage. So that one is we will be working alongside Chair of Legislative Affairs, Caesar, and sorry, I forgot his last name. But his plan is to make the students on campus more involved with, just more informed about what is going on, who is running, the candidates, and how to vote. We planned on making two Instagram posts, one being a slide and the other one being a video. He still has to be or get in contact with marketing, so we don't have much information on that, but we know it's something that we want to work on this semester. And that's all.
Okay, we will now move over to our next special presentation with Student of Artificial Intelligence report with Senator Gavino, Senator Dominguez, and Senator Garcia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isaac Gavino. I'm the Senator for the College of Arts, Media, and Communication.
Hi, guys. I'm Jimena Garcia. I'm the Senator for Lower Division.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alejandro Dominguez. I am the Senator for the College of Engineering and Computer Science.
And last week, we approved the AI survey report. We'll just be going over some brief topics from that, a broad overview, a few key insights, and some just recommendations to guide, the External Affairs Committee, but just all of Senate on where to go with AI university policy from here.
The AI survey consisted of 16 questions and was in operations between the final weeks of the semester. As the information was being collected, the responses were being sectioned off depending on their significant college to be able to get a range of students' opinions, as well as see if students are or aren't using the AI tools provided and if students are finding worth in the CSU AI initiative. Overall, we were able to get 180 responses, with the highest college being from the Arts, Media, and Communication, which were 98, and so on and so forth. Each of the questions were based upon opinions, the ease of use, comfort with technology, and the student's major concern. And most of the questions were able to be answered by agree, disagree, or neither agree. And yeah.
So starting off with the major responses that we were looking for from the university as a whole. The first one was, my professors have clear policies about AI use in their courses. In the graphics and the presentation, you'll see that a majority of the students strongly felt that their professors did have a strong policies, which is very important, so that then the students are able to navigate their courses properly and be able to make decisions on if they want to be in that course or not, which we might see later on. Secondly, the second question was, I'm comfortable with the use of AI text generation in coursework. As you can see, a majority of students either strongly disagreed or somewhat disagreed, which gives us insight as to how the students on campus are feeling about integrating the AI tools that CSUN provides in their coursework and in their use for anything similar to that in their classes. Next slide. Then the next question was, I am comfortable with the use of AI image or video generation in coursework. A majority of students, more than 50%, were either somewhat disagree or strongly disagree. This ties into the work that and the internal committee is going to work on about making sure that there are strong policies focused on image generation and then video generation of AI. And then the other question was, I know how to access my CSUN provided AI tools. This was honestly a split between all of the options, but a majority of students do understand how they are able to access a variety of tools that CSUN provides, which is at least good to know that they are available, and how CSUN is spending their resources to then provide these tools.
Yeah, so those last questions were basically where colleges, when disaggregated, agreed the most. So for example, an arts media communication student would have a somewhat similar opinion to a business and economics student, although there was obviously difference between individual opinions, and throughout the colleges, those were the ones that were the most similar. And so these next two slides are going to be the two questions that we found were the most different, that kind of show a split among the student body of opinions on AI. So this statement was, AI is an essential resource for my academic experience at CSUN. So you can see the total chart on the left, that's all responses, all 180 responses. And then you see the broken down charts for the College of Business and Economics, the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and the College of Social and Behavioral Science. And then if you wanted to know the College of Arts, Media, and Communication, it looks similar to the chart on the left. But we can see that the College of Business and Economics and the College of Engineering and Computer Science see AI as a more essential resource for their academic experience, where students in the College of Social and Behavioral Science are more neutral to the statement, and then students from the Arts, Media, and Communication College disagree heavily with the statement, which aligns kind of with career goals of what we would expect from these colleges, but could also tell us a little bit about what faculty are pursuing when teaching about AI or when dictating what their AI policies are. So it'll be interesting to see once the Educational Policies Committee crafts a more campus-wide policy, how these opinions will shift and how faculty opinions will shift as well. But overall, we saw that opinions varied by college on if AI is an essential resource for a student's academic experience at CSUN. Yeah. And then the next question that we saw a lot of response differences per college, which kind of connects with the last one, is I feel that CSUN has prepared me for a workplace that uses AI. So again, we see a really big split opinion. We see a large amount of students that are neutral. In the College of Arts, Media, and Communication, we have an even bigger portion of the students that are neutral, with almost 50% disagreeing and very little agreeing with the statement. Whereas in the College of Engineering and Computer Science, we have more than 50% agreeing with the statement that CSUN has prepared them for a workplace that uses AI. And then Business and Economics was more split, about 50, less neutral, more disagree. So opinions are split university-wide, but they do vary based on college.
One of the prevalent themes throughout the survey answers was a concern and impact on many things considering AI, such as 81% of students selected information accuracy, another 81% was of students selected jobs, and then 76% selected personal and internet privacy, and another 74% was plagiarism and copyright, 71% was sustainability and the environment, and 5% selected that they had no concerns. Overall, a large majority of the students had multiple concerns about the impact that AI had on not just school-wide, but as well as worldwide.
So another major theme we saw was variance per academic discipline, which is what we talked about when looking at some of the charts earlier. Opinions were split between many students in colleges. Students are not a monolith when it comes to AI use and AI policy. So here are just a few of the responses from students. We had an open-ended question at the end that invited students to share any concerns they had or any comments they had about the use of AI, even if they were positive as well. And I'll read a couple of them out. So from an engineering management student, we said, I think AI can be a great tool for learning and productivity if used responsibly. It would be helpful if CSUN provided more guidance and workshops on how to use AI ethically in academics rather than restricting it completely. And then kind of on the other end of the spectrum, although not exactly, we have from an art animation student, the one on the bottom right, quote, image generation is very harmful and I see no reason to engage with it. I've used it as required for an assignment and hated it every step of the way. So we're seeing kind of a very broad spectrum and a lot of students in between. You know, we even have art students saying they would love to see more classes that relate to using AI. I think that pushes back against the stereotype that a lot of faculty administrators have that, you know, artists don't even want to see AI be used at all. And at the same time, we have, you know, science and math students saying that I don't really like to mess with AI. So I think that also pushes back against the stereotype that, you know, STEM students are going to have to use AI and they want to use AI. Not all of them do. So it really depends on the student and not just on, oh, I'm in this college, oh, I'm in this major.
And adding on to that, one of our other questions was, I'm interested in working with faculty at CSUN on AI research. And here we see that in certain colleges, like in my college or in the College of Business, at least half of students to some degree agree that they would be interested in seeing opportunities to engage with faculty on AI research. And yeah.
Yeah, and then our last major theme, and one that I think will be of the most importance to any recommendations that we are to make out of this body, is the value of the CSUN AI, CSU AI initiative. So many students are not yet confident with AI text, image, or video generation, and many students do not yet see value in CSUN's ChatGPT accounts that are given to them. So we saw this in some of the previous slides, but we have another graph up here. This graph is for the question, my CSUN provided ChatGPT account is a valuable resource for me. As you can see, it's very split. So you have almost an identical number of people, somewhat in strongly agreeing and somewhat in strongly disagreeing, and almost an equal amount of people being neutral as well. So it's really wide across all of the colleges. And then we have the percent strongly or someone agreeing on the right of all the broken down colleges that we did. So business and economics, 67% agreed. Engineering and computer science, 47% agreed, so that's under 50%. Again, pushing back on some of those stereotypes, I think. Social and behavioral science, 23%. Arts, media, and communication, 14%. And then from the College of Humanities, which only had 11 responses, not a single student agreed that their CSUN provided ChatGPT account was a valuable resource for me. And I think it's interesting to look at this and to look at other questions about the value of AI and see that, students are interested in using AI to some extent, but a lot of them are not seeing value in the current initiative as it is constructed. And then, conclusions and next steps. So just some key takeaways from the survey. A key takeaway number one, there's interest in the student population on innovations in the use of AI. There's certainly at least some level of interest from every academic college, even though it does vary. Takeaway two, students at CSUN are open to seeing how AI can change their academic experience, but still want a heavy focus on their own work and human relationships with professors and resources. So we had another question that was essentially, would you rather get answers from an AI instantly about, a course or a syllabus, or would you rather wait and talk to the professor even if you have to wait, a couple days? And it was a resounding, I'd rather wait for the professor and have that relationship with the professor and get my questions answered that way instead of relying on an AI chatbot. We only really asked that question because that was one of the ideas coming out of task force on how to apply it at an academic level, at an institutional level. And then takeaway three, opinions on policies for the use of AI and the decision to use AI in the classroom vary widely by individual student and academic discipline. So we already talked about this, but it's not just, we're going to assume that STEM students all want to use AI, we're going to assume that art students don't want to use AI at all. It really varies on the student, and going forward, it will vary on the faculty member that decides to use AI or not use AI from the classroom. And then our last key takeaway, or that key concerns among students about AI must be meaningfully addressed before these tools can be seen as valuable. So we saw for every instance of concern that we listed, more than 70% of the people who answered the survey had that concern. That's across all the colleges. Only 5% of students had absolutely no concerns. So that's a very small number. And I think that what task force is doing right now is great, where they're talking about, policies and how to further implement the technology, but they're not addressing any of the concerns. And so from the student perspective, we have the concerns, we have the seat at the table, and we want to see the concerns addressed before any meaningful implementation is done, which hasn't been done so far, but we're going to work on it. But those are our takeaways. Just some upcoming dates so you all are aware. I know External Affairs has this on their radar, but AI Jam kicks off on March 4th. It's the sign up period is March 4th. Yeah. So the sign up period for AI Jam is March 4th. I'm sure you'll explain more in your reports. And then it's on March 7th is the day. But I'll defer to the president and vice president on that. But AI Connect is on March 27th. That's the big AI Day symposium that task force is planning. And you might have gotten an email. If you haven't, let me know and I'll forward it to you. But they are inviting a bunch of different students, whether you like AI, whether you don't like AI. I'll be speaking about this report and some other things and student concerns, because that's a really big issue for us. But I invite you to attend. I invite you to speak. If you're interested, let me know. But that'll be on March 27th, which is a Friday, I believe. And then for questions or how to access the full report, you can email me at my Senate email right there, or it's in our last week's agenda as well. And there was one amendment, but it was just a typo. I'll open the floor to any questions.
Senator Baywa.
Sorry, I feel like you probably answered this last week, but just to clarify, how was the AI, the survey was sent out through email, or did you guys walk around and ask people?
Yeah, so there's a variety of different ways. Our main method of communication, we were kind of the first survey in like a series of surveys that were like planning to come out around that time. So we promoted through social media, mainly the AS social media. We had a graphic that was on our second slide. And then some of us reached out also to faculty members that are more connected with AS. And then I personally reached out to my deans, as I know some other students did. And I was able to get a college-wide email out to my college, but I know that wasn't true for every college. So that's why we had variance on the number of students from each college. And this certainly isn't like a representation of every college in their opinions on AI, but I think university-wide, it's a good kind of heat check. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Are there any other questions? Okay, great work. Thank you so much for the presentation, and I'm excited to see your guys' presentation at Matador AI Connect. Okay, we will now move over to open forum. Open forum is intended as an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Associated Student Senate regarding any issues or AS production events affecting CSUN students. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes each to speak. Please sign in using the clipboard for minute recording purposes.
How'd you know? That's such a surprise. You know, my name should just be written on here permanently. It saved me all the time to do it. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all doing well. My name is James Forster. I serve as the AS Programs Manager. I'm here to give you all an update on what events we have going on this week. So we have 3 programs that are going on this week. So first one, Farmers Market on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. out on Lindley Avenue, Matador Square. So pretty normal market there, but the weather is going to be beautiful tomorrow. So hopefully it's going to be a great day out there. On Wednesday, from 10 to 2 in front of the library on the library lawn, we'll be hosting our yearly CRAMPS event. CRAMPS is an acronym that stands for College Resources for All Menstruating Persons and Students. Fun fact, it was actually a program that was originally created by an AS senator and then turned into a resolution that has productions host this event at least once a year. So it's a great event, and my students have been working very hard to come up with really engaging activities for this program. So I really hope to see you all there. Again, that one is going to be Wednesday from 10 to 2 in front of the library. And then finally, our last program for this week will be from 10 to 2, Baramian Lawn, our annual Thursday thrift program. We'll have some free clothes out there. And as always, if any of you have any clothing items that are just not the vibe or don't fit anymore, please feel free to bring them by. You can also bring them to your office, and since you all are members of Associated Students, I'd be more than happy to send the team to come get them from your office if it's a little bit easier than taking them all the way out to Baramian. So just work with me, let us know, and we'd be happy to take the clothes off your hands and go from there. And then just as I jump ahead to next week, just really quick, next week we'll also have Farmers Market, we'll also have Thursday Thrift, and on Wednesday we'll be hosting an event called Save the Bees. So I'll give you all more information about that next week, but those are the programs that we have coming up before spring break is here. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll go into reports, starting with mine. Good morning, everyone. Happy Women's History Month. I'm so excited. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with Basecamp, but there is an Instagram series that our chair DI has been working on, and I'm really excited because it showcases the president of TECUS, and TECUS just started last year, so I'm excited for them to get some recognition. But I hope that you are all having a fun semester so far. Oh, I forgot the rest of mine. So sorry. I lost my train of thought. But I'll start off with my report. I had the ad hoc committee last week, and we kind of delegated the entire Constitution amongst each other. And each of us are going to be in charge of creating suggestions or clarifying points or anything that we think needs to be added into the Constitution. I myself will be reviewing Article 5, Qualifications and Powers of the Senate. Article 12, Student Fees. Article 13, Finance Committee. If any of you guys have any input in regards to any of the articles that I'm going to be overseeing, please let me know. I know Senator Gavino and Attorney General Maheshwari are going over different articles. So if I hope that at least Attorney General Maheshwari will mention which ones he's working on, because I forgot which one Senator Gubino is, so I apologize. But if you guys have any questions, please let us know. Like I mentioned to you all last Monday, on Tuesday, I went to Sacramento to lobby on behalf of the CSU. I had 3 meetings Tuesday and then 6 meetings on Wednesday, and we advocated for, sorry. We advocated for various different things. The 3 main points that we advocated for is the first one was that we kind of begged the legislators to like approve the governor's budget as is, because as I've mentioned to you guys, I think like 4 times, this year's California budget is not cutting the CSU. It is actually returning some funding that was promised to us in a compact, and it will allow us to be able to address different things. So we just practically begged the legislators to not cut the CSU's budget this year and to approve the budget as is. But then within that, we had also asked the legislators that if there's any extra funding that the CSU is asking for $1.8 billion in one-time funding to address the issues in our facilities and infrastructure. The biggest point that CSUN personally made was that Sierra Hall, if any of you guys have been to Sierra Hall, most of the classrooms are closed. They are really old, and the electric wiring, the plumbing, they have all been the same since I think it was 1986, I was told. So it's long overdue for some renovations. So the CSU has a list of every single building in the entire system that needs to be addressed, that needs to be renovated and rebuilt. Unfortunately, Sierra Hall is number 5, and every year Sierra Hall specifically keeps moving up on like the priority list on what buildings should be prioritized within the CSU budget, and Sierra Hall is number 5. So if we were to get this $1.8 billion in one-time funding, Sierra Hall will hopefully be renovated alongside 4 other buildings in the other CSUs. So we'll see where that goes. And then the third point that we had addressed was there is a housing bond bill. I think it's AB 417, where they're creating a bond to help address affordable housing in California and help developers kind of feel more enticed to build affordable housing for people here in California. So the CSU is asking to be included into the housing bond, and we're one of like dozens of other agencies, corporations, organizations, nonprofits that are also asking to be included in the bond. So the points that I personally was making as a student is that if we were to be included into that housing bond, CSUN would then start construction on either a new dorm building, or it will create off-campus housing that is affordable for our students. And then they would also be investing into a development project that would open up 250 apartments in a building for faculty and staff, so that faculty feel more inclined to commit to CSUN and become full-time staff members. So those were the 3 big points that we were hitting for CSU Advocacy Day. They also awarded Assemblymember Mike Fong with a CSU Champion of the Year. That was nice to hear. If any of you guys aren't familiar with Mike Fong's work, he has been a tremendous advocate for not only the CSU, but for the UCs and the community colleges. The UC Student Association actually authors and pitches a lot of bills to Mike Fong, because Mike Fong usually is the one that pushes for anything that ends up being something that the CSU advocates for and something that ends up benefiting the students later on. So that was nice to hear about. I also attended the Elevating Black Excellence, launching our Black Serving Institution era. They went over their strategic plan for the next 5 years on not only increasing resources for our Black students, but also increasing retention, increasing graduation rates both for 4-year and 6-year, as well as prioritizing freshmen and transfer students who historically, per the trend of CSUN, a lot of Black students get lost after the first year in undergrad. So they're going to be addressing it once they get to campus, making sure that they have the resources, making sure that they have advisors, making sure that they have the support that they need so that they can come back. So it is a really, really, really thorough strategic plan, and we only touched like the surface. And as of right now, we are only in the first year of implementation. There's still 4 more years to go, and they are hoping their goal target for graduation rate for Black women is 92%, I think it was. And then their graduation goal for Black men is 86%, because there is a very big gap between the two genders. So they want to address them based on what the needs are for each of the groups specifically. If you guys are interested in learning more about it, I'm more than happy to have Dr. Mason come back and present on it alongside Dr. Freddie, and so that you guys can learn more about it, seeing as many of you guys still have a few years left here at CSUN, so I think it would be very helpful. We had a Metro meeting between myself, Senator Garcia, and Senator Cabrera Figueroa, setting up our guidelines for the Metro campaign that we're working on. Hopefully we'll have something finalized, and then we'll be able to have it approved by Denise and have it approved by our Associate Vice President of Government and Community Relations, Shafali Misri. I also got to attend the Valera Nest opening, where I keep losing my train of thought. I also got to attend the Valera Nest opening, where I heard from both the chair and the vice chair of the USU. I also got to hear from Assemblymember Schiavo. I got to hear from Dr. Watkins, President Beck. And for those of you guys that weren't there, the Valeras, they are a family that have continuously invested into our campus, and they are the reason that the Valera Nest is called the Valera, because once Assemblywoman Schiavo was able to get a certain amount of money and the campus invested theirs, there was still a little bit of a gap between how much the campus actually needed. The Valeras ended up investing a few $1 million to help the basic needs suite become what it is now. And they were acknowledged at this ceremony, and at the end of his speech, he decided to donate another $500,000 to the Valera Nest to be used however the executive director and the basic needs coordinators deem fit. And it doesn't seem like much, but for our students, that could be so beneficial. Compared to like, guys, I cried. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But it was something that no one expected, and President Beck bursted into tears. It was just beautiful, and it just shows how important our alumni relationships are, and philanthropic dollars are the reason that many of us have the resources that we have. So it was really nice to hear. Okay, that was my week. So for this week, I have a meeting with President Beck and Dr. Watkins, where I'm hoping I will be able to get more information on the HSI and MSI grants now that we are a BSI. I'm going to ask about how that is going to look federally and what that could look for our campus. I have a meeting today to touch base with IT with our vice president. I have our ad hoc meeting today. I have the alumni board meeting today. Tomorrow, I have a one-on-one with our executive director and the TUC board of directors meeting. And then tomorrow, unfortunately, I will be leaving Los Angeles and going back to Sacramento. For my new senators, for any of you guys that don't know, I don't just serve as Associated Students President. I also serve as the Student Commissioner for the California Student Aid Commission. I am the sole student representative for the CSU, and our advocacy day is actually on Wednesday. I will be in 6 meetings with legislators to advocate for Cal Grant and to advocate for one of the bills that was actually supported by CSSA, which is to include a cost of attendance into the financial aid packet that students receive, that to include things like dorms, dorm expenses and stuff like that. So we will be advocating for that bill and a few other things, but I'm still waiting on the email to receive that prep. And then on Thursday, we will be in our commission meeting that day. So I will be in Sacramento Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I will be back Friday. So yes, I think that's about it. I'll have more I'll have more about CSAC Advocacy Day so you guys know exactly what bills CSAC is supporting and any updates pertaining to our financial aid. I will make sure I give those updates to you guys next week. And I think that is about it. Are there any questions from the board? Senator Quiroga.
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Senator Diaz-Gomez.
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Senator Ramirez.
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Okay. Senator Cabrera Figueroa. Oh, he said point of personal privilege and I will grant it. Senator Baywa.
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Anyone else need a point of personal privilege? Okay. We will now move over to our Vice President Geminiano Aragon.
Before you all leave the room, good morning, everyone. I hope you had a restful weekend. As of last week, I conducted some Senate 101s. Please make sure that you check our spreadsheet for any updates on your space reservation. If you need a marketing request, it shall be submitted by this week maximum. Let's be respectful of marketing's timelines, please. Thank you. Okay, so I planned the rest of the mental health Mondays. So we will be hosting the second one of the semester on March 9 from 12 to 2 p.m. So that's going to be next Monday. I had a check-in with Executive Director Alan. We finalized conversations on the C-Symposium sponsorship, and I've submitted the supplemental funding request, which will be in the agenda for a future Senate meeting. I attended a cabinet meeting. I also had a one-on-one with Dr. Brusasco to formalize the AI Jam Kirkov event, as well as my overview as my role of MC during the event. So it will be this Wednesday, March 4th from 12 to 1 p.m. in the Extended University 101 room. The event will feature the AS AI survey results presentation. I attended the AS End of the Year 2026 event meeting with the Development and Awards Group. I also attended the Valeranest ribbon cutting event. I had an amazing time networking and ensuring that AS has presence during the event. I also met Assembly Member Pilar Schiavo. I organized a dialogue meeting with student trustee Guajardo, so thank you for the student leaders attending the event. I also sent a follow-up email with the information that we talked about, the infographics that we also discussed during there, so all of those questions can be solved through that email. I trained and coordinated logistics for the American Student Government Association conference. We took 6 student leaders, the majority being committee members, so I was happy to see them connect with other universities from the US. For the standing committee's chairs, I just sent an invitation for our 101s where we'll be discussing the referrals in your committees and how just to keep working on being productive throughout the semester. So we'll be having those this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our Vice President? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to Chief of Staff Boberg.
Good morning, everybody. All right. So this last week, I had makeup one-on-ones from when I was sick. I also chaired the cabinet meeting where we went over reports, and I shared the president's report on her behalf because she was in Sacramento. I also stopped by both of our Chair of Legislative Affairs events last week, and we're hoping for a way bigger turnout for the next one of those, for sure. I also met with one of our student trustees, as the vice president mentioned, where we discussed campus issues as well as some of their recent resolutions. I also attended the elections committee and the finance committee. In internal affairs, I worked on a few of my assignments, so I contacted 2 AS departments and also began reviewing the Attorney General Code. In university affairs, I was also able to attend on behalf of our chair of DEI. And I got to see our wonderful vice chair chair the meeting. He did a wonderful job. It was really good. And then I also had a one-on-one with the vice president where we went over some of the Mental Health Monday programming and the purchases. And then onto our reports. So the Chair of Legislative Affairs report. Hi, this week we hosted our first 2 events, Meet the Issues, Transit and Transportation, and our Lobby Corps Town Hall, both of which did not perform to expectations. Thus, we are planning to move the rest of these events back a bit to better advertise them. Next week, we are establishing our volunteer network programming, including beginning tabling on Tuesday and Wednesday every week. We also are hoping to push back a few of our events to allow more time for students to see and engage with our programming. Thanks. Then on to our Chair of Outreach and Recruitment. Good morning. Last week, I was lucky enough to have attended a campus visit to CSU San Bernardino to meet with their ASI with members of the CSUN Lobby Corps. I am officially part Coyote. Moving on, I also had my one-on-one with our leadership manager, Denise, and attended a meeting with the CSUN Sundial to provide updates on potential articles that they could write about associated students. Additionally, I met with AS Marketing to film and draft a Senate Under a Minute speech, which was posted last Friday. Please keep an eye out for the next Senate Under a Minute. I also worked on finalizing the extra credit initiative with our Chief of Legislative Affairs to send out to CSUN faculty. And I connected with the Chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to gather more details about the upcoming Cultural Unity Showcase and look forward to emceeing, as well as finding a time to film the Women's History Month feature. Thank you so much and have a great week, guys. And then on to our Assistant Chair of Elections. He is continuing to have one-on-ones with the Elections Committee members. They also had their first Elections Committee meeting this semester on Monday, where they discussed the Elections Code as well as outreach strategies to increase voter turnout. Last week, elections also tabled at the farmers market. And then he's also ongoingly scheduling interviews for the street team and preparing for their upcoming orientation. If you're not planning on running in this election cycle and you're not planning on endorsing any candidates and are interested in volunteering with the street team, please contact Tommy. That's all. Thank you.
Senator Baywa.
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Senator Quiroga.
Permission recognized.
Granted. Okay. We will now move over to our Chair of Finance, Tourette.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Happy Monday. Our current supplemental account balances are as follows. STAR has a balance of $150,896. Unassigned contingency is at $438,423. The philanthropy fund is at 3,400, and clubs and orgs travel is currently at 15,370. Over the past week, I reviewed and processed funding requests. I also attended the cabinet meeting and had my one-on-one with the controller as well as the chief of staff. The STAR funding video has been posted last week. Thank you, marketing. They did an excellent job, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I also met with Sundial to talk about the finance process and to answer any questions they may have about funding possibilities. As for the finance committee, so that would be held today at 1 p.m. at the AS Sustainability Center. If you guys have seen our agenda, we've got a handful on there. So if you guys are curious, you guys are more than welcome to attend. As for upcoming events, I will be having a meeting today with the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And I have also been invited to give a presentation to the College of Business and would like to thank Senator Ramirez for the invitation. I will be talking about the funding process and answering any questions they may have. Now moving over to our Assistant Chair of Finances report. Good morning, everyone. Over the past week, the Finance Committee approved one supplemental request from the Society of Automotive Engineers. I've addressed a few clubs regarding their questions about supplemental funding and provided clarification on the process. On Tuesday, I attended the Internal Affairs Committee meeting. I will be having a meeting with the ticketing office, student employees as a part of the Internal Affairs check-in with the departments on campus. We also had our cabinet meeting on Wednesday. On Friday, Senator Ramirez and I will attend the special UPBG workshop with President Beck. The conversation focused on proposed multi-year. Okay, sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry, that would be allocated. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, they're going to be focusing on the 15 million annual. I'm so sorry. Okay. They're going to talk about the university priorities. We discussed key focuses areas including student support, faculty and staff support, research and capital improvement that support university goals. It was a really insightful decision and long-term planning and investment in CSUN's future. Sorry about that. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for, Senator Cabrera Figueroa? He said permission to be recognized and I will grant it. Senator Basilio?
I couldn't ask this earlier because you didn't ask, but why is there a fluctuation in the amount of reports that we're getting from the Chief of Staff from last week and this week?
I'm sorry, say again?
You didn't ask if we had any questions for the Chief of Staff, so I couldn't ask the question earlier.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I just wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
Why there is a fluctuation in the amount of reports we're getting from the Chief of Staff from last week and this week. That's just something I noticed.
Yeah, I can answer this. So I put in a new, I guess not policy, but I'm adding a Friday cutoff at 5 o'clock. I've been getting reports over the weekend, and I'm not supposed to work over the weekend. So if I get them over the week, I'm not going to read them. So that's all. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our Chair of Finance or our Chief of Staff? I'm so sorry, guys. Senator Vicente?
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Anyone else? Okay, we will now go over to our Attorney General Maheshwari.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First, I just want to give a shout out to Senator Dominguez, our Vice Chair of University Affairs, for stepping up and chairing the committee. He made it look very easy. And also, just going off of that, I want everyone to take a couple minutes whenever they have the chance to fill out his survey. He's been asking everyone, and I think he deserves to get that filled out. And then he also helped me with my academic advisement survey, so he's been on a roll. We're currently at 280 responses, which is a pretty strong number, so I'm going to continue pushing it out. I think I'm going to go push it out for another 2 weeks. Hopefully we reach 400 responses by then. I kind of expect it to happen. But if you haven't filled it out or shared it, I advise you guys to do so. Last week I attended the ad hoc committee and I was tasked with reviewing Article 8. So I've been working to ensure the language is all consistent and it's updated with our current board structure and, frameworks. I attended cabinet, although the, attendance was quite low for that. Sorry, Carrie. In external affairs, I was placed in charge of our 2 committee goals, which was examining the cost of living around Northridge, primarily for international students and housing. So I'm pretty much going to be monitoring the bills President Saravia mentioned in her report today. We're also going to be reviewing the regulations relating to bike and transportation concerns. In collaboration with this committee, we will continue developing our research and actions on the steps needed. In university affairs, I've been listening to concerns from various Greek life organizations to better understand the challenges they face and to explore what role university affairs can play in supporting them. For internal, I visited the sports club office and interviewed a student employee to better understand what her concerns may be for the university and identify what may need to be improved. I did not attend Lobby Corps this week due to Model United Nations time constraints, unfortunately. But I plan on searching our topic very soon with our Chief of Staff and Lobby Corps member Mason Molina. As a reminder, if you have met with your dean, please fill out that QR code so we can properly track those meetings. I do expect an email, which most of you guys have done, but now I need the QR code to be completed. And as a reminder, you do need 3 dean meetings, and this is 1, and we're already like almost halfway into the semester. And also, please, as Vice President Emiliano Aragon mentioned, get your marketing requests in so your Senate events can be smooth and also help marketing out because they're constantly busy. And lastly, within the next week or 2, I will be sending you guys an email about your attendance, just to see where you guys stand around the midway of the semester. Most of you guys are doing great, but if you have any concerns, you could bring them up then. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Sorry, I have a question. My question was for the marketing request, if your event is like far out, like let's say late April, should I still send out a marketing request to like this?
Still submit it so that it's on marketing's radar as soon as possible and they can plan ahead for it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Senator Vicente,
Permission to be recognized.
granted. Okay, if there are no further questions, we will now move over to External Affairs Chair Vicente.
Good morning, everyone. Last week, my committee and I finished working on the policy agenda, as I presented earlier. And I mean, really, since we didn't really have like an official first meeting and we had the DPS dialogue instead, we're still like catching up on everything. And this week, I hope we could discuss more on the community involvement goal. And yeah, that's it for today.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chair Vicente? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will now move over to Internal Affairs Chair Basilio.
Hello, everyone. So last week we, again, as Chief of Staff Boberg and our Attorney General Maheshwari have touched base on, we gave more updates on how the town hall-esque assignment is for talking with students from different AS departments or student employees from different AS departments. We also had good discussion on the reimagination of what judicial court can do. And we also talked about a lot of different departments / offices that future committee will be interacting with a lot. So thank you to Senator Gavino for starting that discussion. It was pretty good. That's low-key it. Oh, also on cabinet code reviews and assignments, we did notice that there's some fluctuation because some codes have GPA requirements listed in the code and others do not. So we're just trying to address that. We're trying to make that uniform throughout all codes. But that's pretty much it. for internal affairs. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for internal affairs? No? Okay. We will now move over to University Affairs Chair Umana.
Good morning, everyone. I was not there last week, so if it's okay with you guys, I'll give the floor to Senator Dominguez to do my report.
Hello, everyone. So last week I chaired the university committee in Chair Umana's absence. We reviewed the legislative referrals that we got, and then split the work across like all like the committee members, and then also some work to the Attorney General. And we will now be working on them this week, and hopefully have an update this week for that committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for University Affairs? Okay, we will now move over to our AS Executive Director, Alan.
Good morning and happy March 2nd, which is Women's History Month. Just so you know, this year's theme is Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future. What you may not know is that in addition, on Sunday, March the 8th, it will be International Women's Day. There are two themes. For International Women's Day, the theme is Give to Gain. And then the United Nations theme for International Women's Day is Rights, Justice, Action for all women and girls. So my hope is that throughout this month, you spend time learning more about the impact that women have made and the importance that we keep them at the forefront. The next thing I wanted to let you know is that one of the tasks that we had to do was to update our business continuity plan and get that submitted. So that has been submitted here to the campus. In addition, here on the 4th and 5th, we have a CSUN's Giving Back Day, and that's happening throughout this week. We have several different areas within the Associated Students, one being our Sport Clubs program, as well as our Children's Center. So there's opportunities for people to give. Last week, I did mention that I have a $1,000 challenge out there. So I do want to remind you that the goal is not just to give, but to continue to expand the number of givers. And so even if you don't have much, please consider giving. The last couple things I wanted to announce is last week's Thursday's event, part one, in terms of just kind of going over the Black Serving Institution designation and what that means and what does the 5-year strategic plan look like. And then there was a part two that took place with those that will be in the mix of doing the work over the next 5 years. And so it was really a phenomenal event. I wanted to do some public acknowledgments. I want to start with Kevin, who's not here in the room, but Kevin did the artwork design. That includes a commemorative pin for the designation as well as the program. So when you see Kevin, if you haven't seen the pin or you haven't seen the program that was on the table, it was absolutely beautiful. And the symbolism was incredible. So let's acknowledge him for that. In addition, Denise, as you know, is a phenomenal government manager. And so she had a very integral role in doing the setup and design. So thank you for our colored roses that were out there, as well as getting the room ready. And I also want to acknowledge Hannah, who's here, who also played a part in getting the room ready for all those that attended. And then we also had Calvin, Daniel, and Jade. So when you see these employees, understand that AS had a significant role in making that day the significant day that it was. And then the last thing I thought was really beautiful is Dr. Watkins got what I would say was a lot of roses in terms of people publicly acknowledging his steadfastness, his patience, and his commitment to California State University, Northridge. So I would highly encourage you just to, when you see him, thank him for his service here at the university. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our Executive Director? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our University Advisor Butler's report.
Good morning. The Matter Involvement Center will be hosting our Cesar Chavez Service and Volunteer Fair Thursday, March 26th from 11 to 2 on Matador Square and Matador Lawn. Once we have our marketing materials out, I will pass those around. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our university advisor? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our faculty advisor, DeMarco's report.
Good morning, everyone. Just to follow up on what Vicky was saying, I was actually in the Quick Copies last week and I saw these beautiful plaques. I guess Kevin had designed them for the nest. They were gorgeous. I'm a graphic designer, so I was very impressed by them. And so if you do get over to the nest, look at them. They're on the wall. They're huge, they're round, and they're plexiglass, and they're gorgeous. So anyway, I wanted to take a few moments to share a couple of updates and look ahead to what's coming up over the next few weeks. We're in the point of the semester where things are starting to move really quickly, and then we're going to go into the break, which is going to be really great. But I wanted to share that I attended the AS Farmers Market. You guys are really pulling me in. Last Tuesday, and one of my students had the opportunity to get an item mended, which I saw. It was a great experience to see in action. It was a really positive afternoon on campus, and I took a lot of photos and I shared them with my students and my fellow faculty members in the art department. So you got me as a recruiter for everything that's going on here. From the Mike Curb College of Arts and Media Communications, there's my senators over there. There are several events happening this month, and I want to promote those. CSUN Symphony Orchestra performs on March 4th at the Plaza de Sol over here, and the jazz at CSUN is on March 5th at the Soraya. And then, of course, the Art Galleries exhibit that I mentioned last week, which is A Stitch and Glitch in Time, continues through March 12th. So there's still time to see that before it ends. I also wanted to mention that our associate dean in our college, in the Mike Curb College, has a March Anti-Madness event, which is March 3rd on the Manzanita lawn. And there's free snacks, stress relief activities, aromatherapy, art therapy, and mindfulness. And so there's advisors and everything like that. So if you want to come by on the Manzanita lawn and check it out, it's 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on March 3rd, which is tomorrow, right? Since we've also been discussing AI use on campus, I also wanted to mention that a course we have called Advanced Entertainment Advertising Design class has invited Tomas Opajinski from Adobe to speak about Adobe Firefly, which is a generative AI program. This Friday, March 6th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. over Zoom. He's worked with Netflix and major entertainment advertising studios and was part of the team that developed the Adobe Firefly, which is the AI generative program. And if you are interested in attending, or if you know anyone that's interested in attending, please feel free to email me and I will send you a link and the password and you can view that. Since we were talking about AI. Next week, I won't be in the Senate meeting. Unfortunately, I apologize. I have a meeting that can only be attended for my daughter's school, and it can't be changed, an IEP meeting. So I wanted to just mention a couple things. Next week is Grad Fest, which is March 11th and 12th at the campus store for cap and gown purchases. And graduation photos, and anything else like rings and sashes and cords that you have to get. So I wanted to remind everybody about that. And then the following week is spring break. So that's pretty great for you guys. Hopefully you have a productive spring break because I won't see you next week. So I want to encourage you to recharge and, make sure you refuel and be productive, but also get good rest and take care of your mental health. I also recently met with Senator Eddie Umana. Is that how you say it? Yes. Last week, we had a productive conversation about his role representing the College of Health and Human Development, about how faculty and student leadership can continue working together across the colleges. And I appreciate the initiative and the thoughtfulness in that conversation. Thank you, Eddie. And so I welcome any of you who would like to meet and connect about your colleges or committees to do that with me. As we continue thinking about leadership, I also really would like to help promote the Student Senate roles within the Art and Design Department. And I know that you were talking about that. So if you have any information about the recruitment process or materials that I can share, please connect with me. I'd be happy to speak with my students about opportunities to serve any future senator positions or leadership roles here in the Student Senate. That's all from me. Thank you.
Amazing. Are there any questions for faculty advisor? No? Okay, I'm gonna have to put pause on our regular meeting and start our special meeting, which had a time certain of 10:30 a.m. So I call our special meeting to order at 10:34 a.m. and we will now move over to a roll call with our Attorney General.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon,
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez,
Here.
Senator Atias,
Here.
Senator Basilio,
Here.
Senator Baywa,
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa,
Here.
Senator Contreras,
Here.
Senator Cunanan,
Here.
Senator Dominguez,
Here.
Senator Garcia,
Here.
Senator Gavino,
Here.
Senator Kachidia,
Here.
Senator Kodka,
Present.
Senator Mane, Senator Luna,
Here.
Senator Quiroga,
Here.
Senator Radianov,
Here.
Senator Ramirez,
Here.
Senator Umana,
Here.
Senator Vicente.
Here.
We have quorum.
Bless you. Thank you so much. We will now move over to the approval of the special agenda. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Gavino?
Move to approve the special agenda for March 2nd, 2026.
Thank you. Is there seconded by Senator Dominguez? Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none. If there are no objections, we will approve the special meeting agenda for March 2nd. Okay, thank you so much. We will move past special presentation into open forum. Open forum is intended as an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Associated Student Senate regarding any issues affecting CSUN. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes each to speak. Please sign in using the clipboard for minute recording purposes. Hello, Carlos.
Good afternoon, everyone. So just want to give some quick updates for athletics. So last week on Thursday, both our women's and men's basketball teams had 2 heartbreaking losses to UCI. I think both of them for men's and women's, UCI is #1 in the Big West Conference. So our women's team went over there last Thursday and almost upset the #1 team. Unfortunately, it didn't come out, but that showed that they can put up a fight with the best of them. Same thing with our men's team. For those of you who came out to the game on Thursday, thank you. You saw the last minute heartbreaking loss with 1 second left with the layup. So that was pretty insane to see, but that's sports for you. So anything can happen. Do want to talk about some of the games we have this week. So starting tomorrow, we have baseball. Our baseball team is going to play against Michigan starting at 5 p.m. And then we also have our softball home opener series, which is our Matador Red Game series. So if you wear red, that'd be great. Starting on Friday at 1 p.m. and then again at 3 p.m. and then Saturday again at 1 p.m. for our softball team. Then Thursday, we have 3 water polo games on Thursday, starting, I believe, at 12 or 1 o'clock. So if you have some time, please go out and support. And then also we have our 2 senior games for our basketball team. So starting on Thursday for women's basketball, and then also on Saturday for our men's basketball team. So yeah, pretty busy right here in CSUN Athletics as we gear up also for the Big West tournament with hopefully both of our teams making it next week. So more to come on that too. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for open forum? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll move past reports into new business. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Baywa.
I move for us to move past reports and into new business.
No, for new business.
Oh,
Line item A.
oh, sorry. I move to approve the updated Associated Students Assignment policy.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Arias Gomez. Is there any discussion? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yeah, I just want to ask if we would be able to get clarification on the 3 parts of this achievement policy that were stricken out, or just as to why.
Executive Director Allen.
Thank you very much for that question. So as we are completing items for our CO compliance audit, those documents are thoroughly reviewed by the CO's office. And so we received communication last week that with the enchestment policy that the Federal Regulations 41 CFR is not something that we have to actually mention within our policy. So we struck it out because that was a specific directive, because having it in there would make it seem as if we had to adhere to that federal policy.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
I apologize. This is just a clarification for myself. So in section 6 procedures, the due diligence portion, CCP 1520, is that also part of the same CFR policy?
No, because what you're going to note is that what we're doing is we're striking out the time frame for the CC 1520. So we put a time frame of notification from 9 to 12 months. What they had advised was strike out that particular language and just say that we would send out due diligent notices in accordance with CCP 1520 and not provide a time frame, because again, we would then need to adhere to that time frame.
Any further questions? Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. We'll now move over to a vote. All those in favor of approving the updated Associated Students Attachment Policy, please raise your hand. It's Cheatman, so sorry. Okay, this is approved unanimously. Thank you. We'll now move over to line item B. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
I move to approve the AS Corporation credit card policy.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Dominguez. Is there any discussion? Executive Director Allen.
So what you're going to see is that there's some additional language that's been added in red. Just so that you note, and I might want to make a change to the motion to just add that this would be number 3 under number 10, where it says review and oversight. Because we could only find a PDF of it, we wanted to make sure we got it on the agenda for today. But the language that the CO's office asked that we add was purchases are reviewed and validated by reconciling receipts with purchase orders to ensure the appropriateness and accuracy. So that's what's being added to this particular policy, and it should be D4. So just add D4. That's where it's going to be once we can retype it and send it back out and have it signed. Does that make sense?
You said D, is that a section? I don't see a D.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
10.
10.
4. I did say D, didn't I? Okay. Yeah, so section T where it says review and oversight, the red is going to be number 4.
Would we be able to get that in writing so we can say it appropriately for the amendment?
Yeah, I would make the motion to, I didn't say that. Yeah, this would be a motion to approve the new language that states purchases are reviewed and validated by reconciling receipts with purchase orders to ensure their appropriateness and accuracy as item D4.
That is a recommended motion.
That is a recommended. I can't make a motion.
Does anyone want to make the motion?
And that's an amendment.
Senator Gavino.
Just point of information. Could you just restate it one more time? Because I would like to write it, because I would like to make that motion. Oh, is it written on there?
So it is on the attachment.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it's there at the bottom
All right.
in red.
Okay.
Senator Gavino.
I move to amend the motion to add under 10 as 4 to approve the recommended language purchases are reviewed and validated by reconciling receipts with purchase orders to ensure their appropriateness and accuracy.
Thank you. Seconded by Senator Cabrera Figueroa. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the amendment to the document, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Now moving on to the original motion, is there any further discussion on the policy? Senator Basilio.
When is this policy gonna go into effect? That's a question.
I'm sorry. This original policy was approved by you back in December. So it actually went into effect in January. And that new language was something that they asked, like I said, last week for us to add to the policy.
Senator Gavino.
Yeah, under section 8, line 1, executive director up to 5,000 per month may be increased as authorized. And then it says by the vice president to student affairs as necessary. Is that supposed to say vice president for student affairs, as in Dr. Watkins?
Yeah, so Dr. Watkins' title is Vice President for Student Affairs. You can add / Dean of Students if you would like to make that an amended item to this policy as well.
Senator Gavino.
I think I was thinking of just amending 2 to 4 because it reads to me as now as vice president of AS to the student affairs office.
That would be fine.
Okay.
Senator Gavino.
Yeah, I move to amend the document under section 8, item 1, to replace vice president to student affairs with vice president for student affairs.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by, wait, which one? I'll give it to Senator Basilio. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the amendment to the document, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Now moving back to the original motion, is there any further discussion on the credit card policy? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Associated Students Corporation credit card policy, please raise your hand. Okay, this passes unanimously. Thank you. We will now move into final roll call for the special meeting.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez.
Here.
Senator Atias.
Here.
Senator Basilio.
Here.
Senator Baywa.
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Here.
Senator Contreras.
Here.
Senator Cunanan.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Here.
Senator Garcia.
Here.
Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Kachidia.
Here.
Senator Kodka.
Present.
Senator Mane. Senator Luna.
Here.
Senator Quiroga.
Here.
Senator Radianov.
Here.
Senator Ramirez.
Here.
Senator Umana.
Here.
Senator Vicente.
Here.
Thank you. I now adjourn our special meeting agenda at 10:48 a.m. Okay, we will now go back to our previous meeting, into unfinished business. Is there a motion on the floor for unfinished business? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
I move to approve Eduardo Pastor Marcos for the Outreach and Recruitment Committee.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Senator Quiroga. Is there any discussion? Everyone received the bio, correct? Okay, fantastic. If there is no discussion, all those in favor of approving Eduardo Pastor Marcos for the Outreach and Recruitment Committee, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Okay, we will now move into new business. Is there a motion on the floor for new business? Senator Dominguez.
I move to allocate, oh God, $3,000 from unassigned contingencies to the Society of Automotive Engineers, CSUN Formula CAE for the 2026 Formula CAE Michigan competition, including $2,800 for lodging and $200 for ground transportation.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gavino. Is there any discussion? Senator Gavino.
I'm gonna vote yes on this, but I was just wondering why this wasn't coming out of a star balance, if it's for travel.
Chair Tourette.
So this request specifically does not qualify for neither STAR or Clubs and Orgs travel because STAR request is when you've been invited to present a research project or you'll be conducting like research. But this is a competition. So this is not necessarily a STAR funding request, nor is it a Clubs and Orgs travel request because it's not like they're just attending the conference, which is what that fund is used for. So they went ahead and requested through supplemental funding. Now I also had that same question, so I figured it would come out. But I did speak to the controller and he mentioned that we had funded them in the past with supplemental funding. And considering the circumstances of this specific project, this is a requirement for mechanical engineers. So it's kind of what they need in order to graduate with a bachelor's degree.
Thank you. Any other questions? Senator Basilio.
So just to clarify, we funded them specifically before, right? Period.
Yes. I asked, oh, so sorry. Do I have permission to respond to this question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went ahead and spoke to the controller and as well as the executive director can help me out in this. I believe it was pre-COVID that we actually went ahead and funded this specific event.
Who's next? Oh, Executive Director Allen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we have funded their travel to compete with the car since they've had the car. So they do not get IRA funding for the travel to actually compete with the car. They get funding for the construction. And so the AS has traditionally, through unassigned contingency, funded for them to actually then race it.
Vice President Geminiano Aragon.
Vicky, just to follow up, they wouldn't be eligible for IRA funding because it's not tied to a class, right?
Yeah, the competing of the car is not tied to a class. That's correct.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Okay. We will now move over to the approval of line item A. All those in favor of allocating $3,000 from unassigned contingency to the Society of Automotive Engineers CSUN Formula SAE for the 2026 Formula SAE Michigan competition, including $2,800 for lodging and $200 for ground transportation. Please raise your hand. Okay, this passes unanimously. Thank you. We will now move over to information items. Unfortunately, Senator Main is not here, so we will go to our humanities Senator Basilio.
Sorry. First, I've pushed back some of my events just because marketing is swamped right now and I have the ability to push it back if I want to. I'm still doing that 10 things I love about my major thing. I'm also working on the Remember the Storm event with the chair of DEI because it's in her code and it says to work with the humanities senator. So I already started that process. And we actually have a meeting with one of the ethnic studies departments tomorrow together. So I'm excited for that. Also, the personal project was just raising the stipend and other incentives. We'll continue that discussion tomorrow during internal affairs. We couldn't last week because it's kind of hard when we don't know some of the background. because our advisor could not be there. She had some emergencies, so we'll do that tomorrow. I also attended the EPC committee meeting, and I know earlier, sorry, Senator Gambino asked for some updates on the campus-wide faculty like guidelines on AI. So it's pretty vague right now. It's like 2 sentences, or not vague, sorry. It says pretty much to follow whatever your faculty member states in their policy in any written form. And we have it up to the professor because not every college operates the same way. Like some faculty members are okay with AI use in their classrooms and some are not. Some allow AI use on one specific assignment, but not overall in their classroom. So we can't, the EPC committee is not going to make a policy that's more comprehensive and like encompasses an entire college because that's not their duty. So they said they're not going to do that. They're going to keep it the way it is, which is leaving it up to professors to be very specific in their syllabus, in assignments, or whatever on the use of AI. I know there was a memo sent from the ATC committee to the EPC, sent to the EPC committee last week or 2 weeks ago when I was there. So just wanted to address that here because it's come up twice now. So, but yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Diaz-Gomez?
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Are there any, Senator Dominguez?
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Okay. Are there, does anyone else need a point of personal privilege? Okay. We will now move over to our engineering and computer science, Senator Cachadia's report.
For my Senate event, I'm planning, and I'm not planning, I'm done with planning, and we are hosting a town hall with the help of dean and administrators to provide students an open space to ask questions and learn about academic and campus resources. And for my personal project, at the time of the town hall, I'm having a survey which is related to developing and distributing a college-wide student needs, and it's like a feedback survey for the dean to gather inputs on academic challenges, resource gaps, and campus experience. And this is related to like key finding will be shared with the stakeholders to advocate for the improvement, which is basically a dean and the department chairs. And for the standing committee, I'm serving as an external affairs standing committee, and which is like reviewing legislative referrals related to advocacy and community engagement. However, I wasn't able to contribute that much and attend that much because of limited attendance, which is caused by a hairline fracture in my ankle. And for my office hours, I met with the student to address concern, provide guidance on the campus resources. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Senator Cachadia? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Upper Division Senator Martinez Luna.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a great weekend. In regards to my Senate event, I am hosting CSUN Transfer Takeover, which is a student panel and mixer. The student panel will include student athletes, parenting students, Black student transfer, and students from different colleges. The goal is to understand what the needs are for transfer students, and I've also been discussing with our the undergraduate studies president and vice president in regards to why there hasn't been a transfer center on campus. So I've been discussing with that, and I've been receiving feedback in regards to the event. So just overall, is having a student panel to understand needs and also how CSUN has also been supporting transfer students. And then we'll wrap that up with the mixer. I've been in contact with TSA, which is Transfer Student Alliance, president of that club, Ghana, and as well as Dr. Jane and Dr. Guna, who run the CSUN Badge Project. And in regards to my personal event, it kind of has shifted a little bit. I was initially really interested in working and understanding how DPS can better inform students regarding immigration issues. I'm also continuing the work on that, but it's also shifted slightly to establishing scholarships for transfer students. Typically, there is 3 scholarships per student. I reached out to the scholarship department, and we have only received funding for 1 transfer scholarship, which is the Jump Start, and we have not received any funding for the other 2. So I have met with Denise to discuss potential funding for scholarships for transfer students. And then I've also been working closely with the Dream Center. I attended their workshop regarding their fellowship. And then I also encourage you guys all to check out the events going on for coming out of this Shadows Week. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Martinez Luna? Senator Baywa?
Sorry, that's really cool. I just wanted to clarify about your transfer takeover, with like if you have a projected date.
Oh, yes. So the tentative date for the CSUN transfer takeover is April. Here, let me just it's Tuesday, April 7th from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And then thanks for that. Also, if you guys know any students who may be interested in participating in the panel, if you could just kind of send them over to me, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. You answered my second question.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Dominguez?
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Senator Diaz-Gomez?
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Okay, if there are no further questions, we will move past discussion items into legislative referrals. And I received one at 10:13 a.m. from Senator Vicente, and the request is as follows: 5-minute time limit on reports. And the request is reports should be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Any information exceeding this time frame should be provided in a written report attached separately. This was suggested to go to Internal Affairs, and it will go to Internal Affairs. Okay. Okay. Are there any announcements from the board? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Only one announcement. So not this week, but next Monday, PSSA will be having their alumni mixer. The name is called Meet Poli Sci Past and Alumni, or sorry, Present and Alumni. We'll be having alumni from the political science department come back to campus, hang out with present students on the 9th from 5:30 to 8. After they have a chance to mingle with some of our students, understand what we've been doing as a club, and then hopefully treat them to some food, get them in a donating mood. And then we'll go as a collective, walk to the Matador statue and do the tradition of the rose. Even if you're not a poli-sci major, if you are a student, please feel free to join us. We would love to have you stop by. We are also handwriting cards to all of our alumni. So if you would like to sign on to one of those, please join us. Thank you.
Are there any further questions or announcements? Not bad. Chief of Staff Bober.
I just wanted to shout out the Model UN team because they had their papers due last week, and I got to review most of them. They were all really good, and we have a lot of Model UN people on this board, so that's why. But yeah.
Okay. Any further, Senator Baywa?
Sorry. Just a quick announcement. Women's History Month, we have 2 events for BSU. One of them is going to be March 27th. I will have more a different date. Oh, sorry, the time. But if you guys are welcome, you guys are welcome. We're gonna have a Black Women in Bloom. We're gonna have our ABC Executive Director, Miranda, and some government officials who are women who are doing amazing things in their community speak to us. And it's gonna be like a tea party. So if you're a girl, you're gonna wear your sundress. If you're a guy, you're gonna come in your linen. So we invite you all. We would love to see you all there. We're also having our DPS, which is our Bridge the Gap event, on March 10th from 4 to 6. We are also having BSU elections, so you'll get to see people who are running, me as well, for office for next year, give their speeches. So we would really love if you guys came and supported. That's all. Thank you. Happy Women's History Month.
We wish you luck on your BSU election. Are there any other, okay, Senator Martinez Lima.
Really quick, I just encourage you guys to check out the exhibition. We Were Always Here. It's going to be at the library lobby, and it's in observance of Women's History Month and coming out of the Shadows Week. This exhibition honors the presence, contributions, and resilience of undocumented communities through visual display representing diverse professions and lived experiences. The exhibition highlights the longstanding impact and diversity of undocumented individuals across the community. So if you're headed to the library to study, it's going to be on the left-hand side in the lobby. So I encourage you all to check it out when you guys have the chance.
Wait, Senator Diaz-Gomez.
Really quick, my event is this week on Wednesday, DPR and Donuts. We're doing it all over again. And more information will be out soon. It is, yes, this week, Wednesday. I believe it's from 12 to 1 p.m. So just come by.
Okay, Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Sorry, I forgot to clarify for the poli-sci event. If you have any friends or family that are alumni, please reach out to me. We would love to have them come. Just even if they don't donate, we just want to celebrate all of our alumni. And then also another event that we have coming up in our college, March 27th, we will be having, in collaboration with the College of Humanities, a majors and minors fair that will be located once again, March 27th. I believe the time is 10:30 to 1. It may be 11:30 to 1. But once I have a flyer set up, I will send that out. This will be located on the Sierra South lawn, so a little bit further behind the library lawn. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Cachadilla.
I'll be really quick. I have a Senate event this week on Wednesday, March 4, which is our town hall for College of Engineering and Computer Science. If you guys are available at that time, which is like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., please show up on Sequoia Hall 104. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Chair Tourette.
I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me say rugby, but we won our game this Saturday. That being said, we will be entering the playoffs, and that will be taking place here on March 28th at the Northfield against UCI.
And you will once again beat the Anteaters. Any other announcements? Okay, I have a few. Just a reminder, please, if you are going to get up during the Senate meeting, please ask for permission for a point of personal privilege, and then remember to ask for permission to be recognized. If you just get up and leave, it does affect our quorum, and it is kind of difficult for Madeline, Attorney General Maheshwari, and I to pay attention to everyone that is leaving because we are also running these meetings and Madeline is taking minutes as we are going through this meeting. So please, please remember to ask for point of personal privilege and to ask to be recognized. It is your responsibility to make sure that you do so, please. Okay, and I forgot to tell you guys that I went to the men's basketball game, so I unfortunately had to see them lose. However, I have the list of every single game that is going on this week. Please, please, if you have some time in your schedule, please show up. every single athlete that sees me or any one of our student leaders, they always come up and say thank you because it does mean something to them to have us be there. And it means a lot to them to be able to say that their student leaders are showing up for them in one of the biggest reasons that they are here at CSUN, and it is their sport. Men's baseball will be playing against Michigan tomorrow from 5 p.m. to about like 8:45. Women's tennis will be playing against, I think it's Youngstown on Wednesday the 4th from 10 a.m. to about 12:30. On Thursday, March 5th, women's water polo will be playing from 3 p.m. to about 7. They have 2 games against 2 different schools. And then Thursday, March 5th, women's basketball will be playing at CSU Bakersfield at 6 p.m. And that, like Carlos said, that is their senior night. So please, if you guys are able to, please show up to that. I will be flying back from Sacramento, and I'm hoping I will be able to go catch the last few minutes of the game after my flight. Friday, March 6th, our softball team will be playing UC Riverside at 1 p.m. And our beach volleyball team will be playing against La Sierra at 2 p.m. And then on Saturday, our softball team will once again be playing UC Riverside at 1 p.m. And then our men's basketball team will be playing CSU Fullerton, and that will be their senior night. I will be attending that one as well. So if you guys want to go together, please let me know. Again, it means a lot to our student athletes when they see us at these games, and it does show us trying to create a sense of community and a sense of engagement with our student athletes. So please, if you guys are able to, please show up. And that is my only my final announcement. We will now move over to final roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez.
Here.
Senator Atias.
Here.
Senator Basilio.
Here.
Senator Baywa.
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Here.
Senator Contreras.
Here.
Senator Cunanan.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Here.
Senator Garcia.
Here.
Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Kachidia.
Here.
Senator Kodka.
Present.
Senator Mane. Senator Luna.
Here.
Senator Quiroga.
Here.
Senator Radianov.
Here.
Senator Ramirez.
Here.
Senator Umana.
Here.
Senator Vicente.
Here.
Okay, and I adjourn this meeting at 11:11 a.m. Thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week.